What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Andy, Bill, Cheryl D, Emily, G, W. Good morning to Jay. We got Jeff in the house. Good morning to Lucian, Peter, Rob, Shane. We got two Shane. We got double Shane, double the Shane. Good morning to both of you. We got Tim. Good morning to Wendy. All my people out of YouTube land. Whew, good morning to all you guys as well. All my lurkers in the background. I do have I'm working on one screen today, so doing a little traveling. Just went to New York to get away from some of those drones. That's about it. That's about it. Going crazy. Going crazy. But you guys, welcome to the trading room. We'll see what happens today, but let's pull up the SPY real quick. Let's see where we're at. AVGO. AVGO beat on earnings per share. Revenue was a little bit of a miss, but the guidance actually came in pretty strong on it, so that took all these semis up a little bit, a decent amount. And the rest of the market in terms of the SPY is gapping up. Mm, it is a it's man, every day is a I think this week almost every day has been a gap and go. Every single one. Georgia says AVGO when rocket ship. It happened already. Last night it's like 20% up. We want more rockets. I want less things in the air. Yeah, there was some drones over LaGuardia last night. I think JFK too. Somebody says, and then I was talking to somebody. They said they did shoot one of them down. I don't know. Wild times. But yeah, another gap and go for today. Resistance again. Gonna keep us in this levels 607.41. The next one up 607.78. And then I got about 607.88 is the final resistance. If we could break, maybe the momentum comes in. The one thing this market has been absolutely lacking so far has been volume. Volume has been rough. I would like to see some volume come in today. We'll see what happens. The Qs, so AVGO, not enough to bring the SPY up to all-time highs, but it can do it for the Qs. So really good gap on this one. This is a gap and go. We also have we've cleared out that last resistance from Wednesday. So depending on where we open, but so far it looks good. I want to be above 530.26. If we do a small little pullback, I'd love to see that hold. Otherwise, if we lose that, we're looking for a full-on actual retest into 527.90. But that's a bullish gap. That is a bullish gap. Probably keeps going. That looks good for tech. We got Coinbase. Let's take a look at. And I do have some positions on Coin. You guys know I took out an option yesterday, and then I said if it hits 308, I'm just gonna double down. So I did do that as well. But let's take a look at BTC USD. Couldn't do it yet. Staying inside that high wave candle. We were looking so good. We did get above this 101 528. And we pulled back. We're just kind of hanging out. We got another now resistance or two to clear. We got to get past this 100, 507. So Bitcoin's still just kind of hanging out. Couldn't make that breakout. Otherwise, Coinbase is a gap and go for today. This one again, we have 24 minutes till we open, so we'll see where this one comes in. But we have right at the resistance 316.34. We can get above that. Next spot 317.82. That's the next big one we got to clear again. If we get above that 317.82, I still got some targets up to like 328. So inside day for today, nothing too crazy, but we are gapping above where we closed. And again, there was some bullish momentum out of the gate. Let's see if that happens. I'm gonna put a sell order in for at least one of those options. Take some of the risk off the table. I think just opening into resistance, and then we'll let the other one ride for a little bit longer. and we'll go from there. But yeah, nothing crazy on Coinbase for now. We probably need that little Bitcoin push, which is just chopping sideways. NVIDIA. 140 has been a brick wall for NVIDIA. Even with AVGO running and a lot of the semis, we're still hanging out. Um, Resistance is at 139.91. We also have the 20-day EMA there as well. Not a bad gap though. It is a little bit of a retest, so I would expect probably a little pullback into at least 139.53, somewhere in that zone. If we start to break it, the next little support might take us into 138.62 and then all the way back to yesterday's, which I really don't want to see Nvidia close at 137.53. I want to stay above. I want to stay above 139. I think we get a close today anywhere above 139. We start to look a little bit more like a potential kind of breakout with targets into like 142.38. So I would like to see that move, but we're just chopping in between really the 50 and the 20 on the daily. But not a bad gap. I would expect a little bit of a pullback. I do only want a small one. Stay above 139.50, and then that might be a chance to break out for today. But not a bad gap. I think it just needs a little bit more. A little bit more. We got Tesla. Mm, Tesla. Chilling. Not not much of a move. It is a gap and go. Uh, I would see if we could get a small pullback. So I got support at 419.75. We want to stay above that one. We actually got a close below that one yesterday, and then resistance is up to 423.56. So a little bit of a tight range. Again, if you're gonna try to play this one, I'd stick with the overall trend of this one, which would be bullish. If you absolutely must try to short Tesla, if if you just can't sleep at night because you're not shorting Tesla, the spot I would give it a shot at is this 423.53 zone. Otherwise, see if we get a small pullback. You really want to see this 419.79, 419.80 start holding. And then that will give you probably your best risk to reward. If this thing could break, phenomenal. Tesla keeps going. Otherwise, if we're just staying in between those two ranges, I would expect a little muted day, especially after this rally. But if Tesla does start to break this 419.48, I'd let it break, see if it does a retest into it, and then on that retest, try to come back and maybe could catch a short finally ever. I don't know. Doesn't seem like a good idea. I want to do that with your account, but I don't know. AVGO. Yep, Georgia is saying a rocket ship, but she's saying when? When is it coming? I would throw a guess out there about 20 minutes when that bell rings. Looks good. There's zero resistance. Again, we are up about 20% ish, 17%. Massive move. Valuation's a little crazy. But again, I have no targets to the higher side. We are at all-time highs. Massive gap. For the long term, I think it's good not to buy here for like a long-term account, but I think the company is healthy. I think it stays at the higher premium levels, especially if AI keeps developing. Otherwise for today, I think this is a big gap. I would probably say there's a little more pullback on this one, but be very careful on this one. It's gonna have a ton of momentum on it. But yeah, that's a big gap. I don't really want to short it, but I don't think I could go in here long as well. I think if I had to play it, if the drone came down, abducted me, and said, "All right, you have to do something with AVGO," I would say, "Okay, my best shot is to the downside," but I'd be absolutely terrified Yeah, you could probably play the fade, but I like to play fades more so in like a downtrend. Like if this was like this is a huge, huge, huge bull trend. The only thing that's really crazy is that the valuation is nutty. Valuation's nutty, but it could be like a NVIDIA situation where it kind of eventually grows into it. But every single person, if you've purchased AVGO and have just been doing nothing but holding, you are profitable when that bell rings. You're profitable now. But yeah, I'm probably gonna stay away from that fade. But I think the fade, if you want to try it, there is a lot of room. But there's also infinity room to the higher side. So, but 17%, it's a lot. MRVL. Uh, Good gap. It is a gap and go. We got that resistance sitting around 118.44. I almost want to fade this one. Yes, so it's a gap and go. But yesterday's candle was more inside of this kind of breakout, so I would treat it like a little bit more like a retest. I don't think we get a full on retest. I'd be shocked if we do. But like a retest is like 114.13. Otherwise, if you start breaking out of this 118.45, then you're kind of reversing that position and we go higher. But you are opening right now. And again, 17 minutes, something could change, but right now, you have that resistance. I was looking at AMD as well. AMD is the same thing, so it was a little bit of a gap and go. I we were a little higher too. I want to see us get back to this like 132.52, and then I could sell another cover call. But it was staying underneath this 132.64. So for AMD, if it starts to break this, I would look to go long. Otherwise, for right now, we were massive, massive downtrend. Support on AMD takes us to like 130.59. But yeah, a lot of these semis, a lot of these chips, they're all having a good gap, but opening right into a decent resistance for a lot of these. Let me take a look at Dell. Oh, did anyone buy it off the blue line? I got scared on this one. I got scared. You still might have an opportunity with this one if you do like Dell. You have some room to the higher side, 123.32. This is a little bit of a retrace gap. You're also opening about 618 percent retracement of this candle. So I think this one is a strong fade. Fade down to like 119.39. I think that would be your spot if you want to try to get in long at this point. Your stop for a swing trade basis would take you to about 115.30. So you have a pretty solid stop level. You have reason for some kind of support, and we'll just see if it holds. But we'll see if I think this one's a pullback at open down to 119.51 at least. So not a huge range, but I'd be patient on playing it bullish. But if it does drop, you have a good spot to kind of hop in on that one. DraftKings DKNG. Ooh, this one kind of like Nvidia, stuck between the 20 and the 50. You've had 6 days in a row to the downside. Probably not a bad spot to sell some puts. Would have been a little bit better if it happened tomorrow, but if you get a retest, which comes into like 41.46, that might be your spot to sell some puts if you think you've missed the opportunity. Decent gap. Again, resistance on this one. You have a gap and go from yesterday. The resistance is what scares me a little bit. So 42.06, if we could clear that, you still got the 20 in the way. And then you got targets in like 42.73. So it is a gap and go. I'd put a little bit more of a bullish lean on it for today. It's not a horrible spot with first support at 41.85, but the targets on this one, it's not exactly screaming bullish. Overall trend has been kind of breaking out, and this could just be one little pullback. If so, probably more of a swing than a day trade, I think. on DraftKings. We got TSM, then we got CrowdStrike. So TSM, mm, good gap and go. I think my concern is the location where we're opening. A lot of these things kind of have that big resistance right above it. But right now, from this last little downtrend, you have your 50% retracement somewhere around 198. And then you got your 618 sitting around 199.82. So I think if you're in this for a day trade purpose, watch for that 199.89. And then if you're really going for a stretch target, you got resistance around 290. It might actually start looking a little bit more bullish if we can get to that 290. I think you have to, even though this is a gap and go, I think we have to wait. I think we have to be patient, especially with the lower volumes in these markets, which has absolutely been driving me crazy. But um, it's a gap and go. I'd see if this one actually can retrace. I don't think I could get in here bullish. Just knowing that 198, I might get shut down, and then you might get shut down at 199.82. So either way, I'd have to have a small stop, and I really don't have one in anywhere close. But if we get a pullback down to 195.52, I think that would give us a better shot for at least some better risk reward on TSM. CrowdStrike. CRWD. Ooh. A little bit of a follow through yesterday. Big resistance on this one, 367.36. So that's where I would probably look to shave a couple of shares off. I think we could definitely get to that. Your next resistance up is 369.84. Otherwise, can we actually break out of this? Probably. I don't know about today, but we do have targets that would take us up to like 387.61. So I think if you're in this one bullish for a swing, you're kind of holding on again if you want to take some shares off. Somewhere right around here just in case. You can just to lock some of that gains in and again reduce some risk. Otherwise, everything still looks pretty strong. Few resistance on this one. It has some room. Actually, this one I think has the best shot. Uh, I think it might have the best shot of kind of breaking out. There's really not that much resistance. For day trading today, I'd want to almost try to go for that extended target of 378. Mm, I don't know. He's got a couple of that resistance there, but I do like that nice little bounce off that 20. Either way, I would probably still want to wait for a pullback, see if we could hold levels somewhere around 364.16 if we could get it. Um, but we have a decent little daily bull flag. This is what's kind of the attractive part. If we could actually have a crazy breakout day, get it up to like 387.73 today. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, I'd probably have to target into like this 370, something like that. IWM. Ooh, that's quite the reversal hammer on the 25th. You do have a lot of little red days. And then yesterday we got the close below the 20. Also kind of coming in opening underneath a decent support, which I would have liked to see hold. Yesterday actually kind of closed below that. I think this one is still looking bearish. And I would see if it is a lot of red days in a row. Maybe get a bounce into like 235.13 if you want to try to get in. That would be a little bit of a resistance. And then for today's target, I think you have room down to like 232.23. If we get the overextended selling today, you got 230.31 on the cards, but it doesn't seem like it makes huge moves. Not often. So I'd probably look for that 232.23ish. All right, let's see. Rivian and Microsoft. Microsoft has the Hammer of Thor from yesterday. Mm-hmm. The Hammer of Thor for reversals. Is this going to mark a little bit of a pullback for Microsoft after a phenomenal move? Come on, Microsoft. I predicted that you were going to hit new highs by the end of the year. I don't have much time. No pullbacks allowed. But yeah, watch this hammer. Obviously, we start taking out that wick. My prediction is I think a little bit more likely to come true. Um Smack in the middle, I think, on my Microsoft. So I'm gonna have my resistance for today. And with that wick, I think if you're going to try to short again, I don't like to short things in an uptrend, and this one just had a monster breakout. I think more or less, where's my little pen thing? So I think more or less for today, you probably get that retrace. You might hang out a little bit. I think a little bit of a pullback would be decent. Maybe get down to like this 437 zone, and then you kind of make your next move higher, longer term. But yeah, watch this resistance. So I'd rather not play this, but if we get this dip, this is the time to buy some calls, buy some shares, and then try to see if you get that next little rotation somewhere. But still a healthy breakout. Really, really strong on Microsoft. All right, we got Rivian, but today might be a little rest day or down day, which is fine. Rivian. Um, it is a retest gap. There's another one that had already had a good move. Look at that double bottom. Are we finally setting up for a longer term potential position? Maybe until they come out with their earnings again, then we get clapped. Like, they lost another 40,000 every time they sold a car. That's crazy. On a technical basis, Rivian actually looks really good. You probably have a little bit of a longer term resistance on this one. Let's see if we get a little downtrend line. Did we break out? Uh-oh. You're telling me we get a double bottom. We got really good support. 1035. We have a downtrend. We did gap up above it. We are consolidating. We are in the market where you cannot short anything ever. I kind of like it. Resistance is 1442, so for day trading tough. I almost want to be in this thing for I mean, I'm gonna regret this, but I think I would like to be in it for a little bit of a longer term, whether that be a swing or take a couple shares into the long-term portfolio just in case. I am going to regret all of that. But interesting. Very, very interesting on Rivian. Day trade, I have no idea. No clue. Does that help at all? I have no idea. You don't have much range, so I don't know if today's the day we break out for day trade purpose, but that's looking a little perky. And I know for a fact I am going to regret all of it. So that's fun. Emily says, "Don't do it." I know. Yeah, little arch nemesis Rivian. I don't know, Emily. You want to sell those puts now? Maybe. Maybe. I kind of even want to sell the puts. I kind of just want to buy the shares. Interestingly enough, 100 shares is only $1,400. I know. Yeah, but 100% loss is still 100% loss. Is one of those companies. I don't know. Maybe it goes bankrupt. They need to figure out how to make money. That's if you sell a car, like if I'm an investor into your company and you're telling me you're the CEO of Rivian, I'll be like, your car looks so cool. I like it. Yeah, no, I seen one. I've seen a couple out on the road. They look awesome. How much do you make per car? You lose $20,000 every time you sell a car. I would like to see a lot less. I want to see less cars out there. In fact, I don't want to see a single Rivian out there until you figure out how to make some money. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Apple just absolutely on a tear as of late. Pretty decent location for an open. I don't think you get much of a pullback on this one. I'll be looking for like 248.12. If you can get in there, I'd play the direction that everybody else is playing. Run it up to 249.58 with the potential, with a lot of momentum to maybe even break out of that for today and go higher. So I would stick with this trend. I would not go inverse that. But at open, be a little patient, but probably not too probably not too patient on. You don't have too much of a pullback. Sell cover calls. Um, I don't know, Mike. On Rivian, I almost rather go absolute zero on my play. For right now. If I'm up 50%, 60%, 70%, somewhere in there, I wouldn't mind starting to sell. Like even if we get it here, I mean, if we get to 20, that's a $6 move on a $14 stock. That's a big move. I think if I'm going to take the risk of getting in here, I'd almost rather. I mean, I'm gonna have a hard stop at somewhere around $8, right? I'm not really losing 1,400 if I buy 100 shares. Um, so I'm losing about $6, which is a decent amount for. It's a decent loss on a position, but I think if this one, like, if I'm getting in this one, I'm looking for those PayPal reversals, those SoFi reversals. I'm looking for those companies that are just in the gutter, and then all of a sudden the market starts to switch sentiment. So I don't think I would do. I really don't think I would do a cover call on this one until I'm up decent, and then I'd be like, okay, let's play with like the Palantirs. Not that this is a Palantir, but those type of moves where we're just absolutely killed. Even like DraftKings down at like $10. I don't want to sell too early on this one, so I really don't want to. I don't mind the risk. So if I do get into something like this, I'd probably let it go up first. Let me be profitable like crazy on those shares and then sell it. But I hear your point. You could definitely get into this one, sell some cover calls, probably get a lot of your position for free over time if this doesn't move. But I do think if this one does start to move up, I'd rather be in the move than worrying about the cover calls. For me, I don't know. Tim says they're building a new plant in Georgia so that they can lose money faster. Beautiful. Yeah. I heard they got in the drone business. Uh-huh. I saw the drone flying around last night. It had the Rivian logo on it. I was like, oh, okay. How much that cost you, Rivian? How do you make money from those? That's a perfect business model for you. But that is the morning bell, everybody. So make sure you guys out on YouTube land hit that like and subscribe buttons if you've not done so already. Be careful. Volume has been rough in this market. Things move sporadically. Otherwise, you guys are incredible, and I'll catch